Bryn. All year long you've talked about just how I guess, easy your looks can be, when kind of the other guys are facilitating for the gravity with Giannis. I think he had the third triple-double in franchise history in the playoffs. What were you seeing, I guess, on the court as the game went on, too, especially with your looks and the way they were kind of moving to him and maybe leaving you, Bobby, open to take some of those shots?
Yeah, I think they were very locked in on Giannis. I think that was the majority of their game plan was to stop him and, kind of form a wall. It will at least try and form a wall in front of him, and that just leads to a lot of open shots and not as heavily contested shots. So, yeah.
At this point, or especially maybe in this specific scenario of an elimination game for them, as you guys are flipping that scoreboard and you're starting to knock down everything, were you a little surprised that they weren't trying to run you off a little more or just not leave? I mean, it looked like you had enough space on a lot of those things.
Not really. They did that pretty much every game we played them this year. The few times we played them in the regular season, and then the 3 other games, they stuck to the same game plan. So, I kind of knew what to expect, and then I think when they started doing the full court press was like when there's just so many open shots because, Drew was dicing through it and then finding people, and it just, open shots are going to come with that. I feel like you really have to pick your poison.
Laura Stevenson.
And Bryn, when you are, you talk about the fact that Giannis and the other guys garner so much attention, but how important is it for you to continue to move without the basketball to set yourself up for those runs?
It takes some small movement, but I'm playing with such good facilitators, and they see the court so well that I honestly, I don't have to do much except shoot the ball. So, like I always say, they make my job easy and fun. So.
And then defensively, what did you feel like your role was on the court when you were in there? Obviously, offensively, you tried to floor out, but defensively, what did you try to bring?
I tried to stick to the game plan, to be honest with you, and do everything I could in my power in my role on the defensive end. So, I think it worked out really well. Our scheme and whatever we were doing, I think, but I'm ready for whatever. Defensive challenge, offensive challenge, I'm ready for whatever.
Eric Name.
This is your first playoff series with this team, and I'm curious, Khris gets twisted up with Dragic, and he just kind of laughs it off, and he's just like, all right. And Giannis the other night struggling with basketball after they put him to the ground. Just what have you seen from this team's ability to, be chill in these moments that, whatever it's going to be, it could be physical. We played this team last year, we're going to be good. We're going to get through it.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people's, they'll do that little, the tough guy gimmick and, try and beat up on Khris and Giannis and different people. And, if you know what they're really trying to do, then it doesn't really affect you as much. I think, especially in those moments, they want a reaction. And I think them two guys are really, really mature, especially on the floor. They won't let it faze them.
For you, obviously, Dante goes out and, maybe there's is Bryn going to start? Is he not going to start? How is he going to get more minutes or less minutes? How did any of that affect you, and just how do you feel like you guys kind of got through this first game?
Dante was a big part of what we've done this whole time, and he's great at what he did and great in his role. But, I think we just got to find a way to, however we got to do it. I'm not sure if this is the way we'll keep doing it or something else, but just got to find a way to kind of try and fill those gaps. We miss them, and we're a better team with them, but just try and fill them gaps right now and do what we can do.
One more, Kane Pittman.
Hey, Bryn, I know you weren't around last year, but I think something that has stood out all season really with you guys has been your ability to withstand pressure moments. And it felt through this series, even though it's a sweep. Game 1 was a grind. Game 3, they put some pressure on you first game on the road, and tonight, obviously, you were down double digits. So in those moments, is there a player or players that stand out in terms of keeping you guys calm, keeping you guys relaxed? What was the sort of the vibe with the group when you were down for much of the first half tonight?
No, I don't think it's a single person, or I think that's just kind of the demeanor of this team. I don't remember many times feeling like under crazy pressure, or like we gotta speed things up, or feel pushed out of our where we've been all year mindset wise. I just don't think it's like a person or a thing we do. I think it's just like kind of who this team is in a way. Like I don't remember a time in any games where we panicked or anybody's falling apart. There's a lot of experienced guys here and guys that have done a lot of amazing things in their career so far and been to a lot of playoff games, and it's like, I think everybody's ready for the pressure.
Yeah, they played great in the first half. They played with a lot of energy. They were focused on obviously extending the series. So we knew we had to come out in the second half and outwork, play with more energy and respond to that, exceed that. And Tuck, that's really Tuck's MO. He always plays with a lot of energy, and he played with a ton tonight. And those offensive rebounds, possessions like that, where he got his hands dirty, made some tough plays that kind of turned the tide of the game. That they were huge for us.
All year long, you guys have talked about getting to this point and peaking for the playoffs and sort of using the regular season to try a bunch of different things, and maybe you more than anyone in terms of what you've been asked to do or do differently this year. Does it, I don't know, I know there's a ways to go, but is there some measure of satisfaction, or at least feeling that worked to a degree, that work of the last 72 games, you guys were able to apply it, win in different ways and do different things through this first 4 games?
Yeah, despite wins and losses in the regular season, whatever the end result was on one particular night, we definitely felt that we got better and learned a lot throughout the regular season. We had a lot of new bodies, new offense, to really get used to, and so there were a lot of adjustments to be made, and we knew all that was for this time. So as you said, peaking at the right moment. We really feel like we're doing that, and we still feel like we're getting better and improving each and every single night.
And so that was making it more difficult for them with the wall. First, do you have any branding ideas? Like, is that a good name? Like, I know you're always thinking about like making rides and stuff at Disney. Do you have a better name than Brook as a tower? And then just for you to know that they were gonna have that wall all the time, and you guys had to break it down.
I'll have to, I think Giannis, myself, Thanasis, maybe we'll use our little hive mind and come up with something, but I like that, it's a perfect description. I was just trying to, in the pre-games, coach would write, own the paint and own the line, referring to the paint and the 3-point line. And, so I was just trying to do my part of owning the paint both offensively and defensively as much as I could. And that really just included running the floor on both ends, loading up defensively, being in the paint there, backing up my guys defensively, and then offensively just running the floor, getting behind the defense, behind the wall, so their defenders were thinking about me, so they'd know I was back there, and just have that, so they'd have that thought in the back of their head when they were going to help, there's someone behind me, I have to think about that. And so I was just trying to make a difference as much as I could without the ball.
I know you guys don't love talking about specifics defensively during a series, but the series is over now. So for you guys, you ran a lot of the same stuff. Drop coverage, same way you kind of handled dribble handoffs as you did last year. Just what do you think was successful this year that did not work in a similar way last year? I know you were up to touch a little bit higher and stuff like that, but just kind of what did you see as the difference even?
Yeah, aside from all X's and O's, I just thought our mentality was so great this year. We came in with our game plan and everything like that, but above all, we wanted to outwork them, out-physical them, have greater energy, and, again, something else Coach wrote on the board before every game. Don't expect anything, don't beg, just go out there, leave it all on the floor. It's our team, the 5 of us on the floor, the 11 other players, the coaching staff, we're all we have, and regardless of what the refs do, the other team does, we got to go out there and be ourselves each and every night.
PJ the other night said you guys are a bunch of dogs, and I'm curious, do you feel like that difference in mentality this year? Like, you kind of just spoke to it, but is it like an actual feeling that you can have out there, or like, how does that actually feel? Because you're trying to describe it to me, and I'm trying to understand it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I think it's just that feel, that knowing we all have each other's back out there, regardless of who's out there. We're all going to go out there, leave it all on the floor, play tough, and it all starts with our defense. You know, that's been something for the years I've been here. But, you know, we're going to go out, be physical with the other team, make them take tough shots, box out, get the rebound, and offense will handle itself. But, you know, we want to have that mentality. We're out there making it difficult for the other team defensively, all five of us together.
What do you think about the fact that you all were able to get it done in a variety of ways throughout a series?
And that's just what the playoffs are about. Got to find different ways to win ball games. And I think when you have a team as talented as we do, you could change up your style. You could change up the pace of the game and still find a way to execute.
And coming into this series, you all talked about the fact that it probably wouldn't be about X's and O's, it's just about winning plays and playing tough basketball. Do you think it lived up to that, or do you think it ended up being about something else?
I think it was that. When you look back on the series, we definitely controlled the boards, which was a huge part of getting out on transition and giving us second chance points. Everybody was huge. The guards, Tuck, Giannis, Drew, Brook, everybody had a part, controlling the boards for us and able to limit them to one shot and, like I said, for us to get on the break.
Given the fact that they did eliminate you all a year ago.
It's good, but it's just a start. We got a long road ahead of us. This is just a start of what we want to do, what we want to accomplish. It may not be as pretty or, whatever going forward, but we just have to, continue to grind and stay with it.
Jim Ozarski.
Khris, to follow up on Zora's first question, when you mentioned the change of styles, that's kind of what the plan was, right? I remember talking to you guys back in December. It was about getting ready for the playoffs and being able to throw punches, counter punches. Is that, I would imagine that's got to be a nice feeling, right? That you were able to kind of display in these first four games what we've been working through the last 72 plus.
Yeah. Like I said, we want to be playing our best basketball right now, and we're trending that way to be able to, execute a defensive game plan, get stops, and then if our fast break isn't there, if the mismatches aren't there, to be able to run our sets and execute the way we did, it's great. The way we're able to change sides of the ball, penetrate, look for layups, dunks, and then kick out threes. It's perfect.
Regarding this afternoon's game, Bryn said there was never really a point where, even down 12 and maybe things offensively weren't going as smoothly, there was never a point of panic or feeling that you needed to press the issue. So how important was that, I guess, to kind of stay level and keep it the pace you were in, I guess, to kind of reel Miami back in?
It was key for us, definitely, especially on the road in a hostile environment. I would say Bryn, he did an amazing job of just keeping us within striking distance. He had a lot of big threes, big shots for us in that first half, and they continued in the second half. But we just told ourselves to stay in the ball game. Shots are going to go down at some point. We just got to get the game under control, get stops. It's just, knock down shots. I think that's what it was in the first half. We had a lot of open looks. We just didn't make them at first.
Eric Name.
After game one, there's some people thinking like the adjustment should be defensively to, change the way that you're handing dribble handoffs, have someone else cover Duncan Robinson. Like, what did you think of your ability and kind of to flip it as the series goes on? Like 2, 3, 4, they didn't hurt you as bad in those. You were able to get through stuff a little bit better. Just like, what was your kind of mindset as the series went on?
At first, he's a hell of a player, hell of a shooter, where you just can't leave him any type of space. You just got to make him as comfortable as he can, because once he puts that ball up in the air, more times than not, it's going in. So for me, it was just trying to, just stay connected to him off the ball, coming off screens, trying to be physical with him so he couldn't get a clean look. Just knowing that if he drives, my teammates are going to be there. I just got to, continue to get back into play.
PJ had said that you guys are dogs. Like that's what your mindset is this year. That's who you guys are. Like that's just what your kind of attitude is going to be. Have you felt a change from like other years? Like, do you feel like you have more dogs on the roster this year? Like, you guys can really are ready to go here in the postseason?
For sure. I mean, PJ, Bobby, Bryn, they all bring different styles of toughness to our group. They add plenty off the bench that we've seen this back half of the season with some of the guys with Tuck that joined us late. We've seen it from Bobby and Bryn the whole year long. But in the playoffs, they raised to the occasion so far and just, telling us to keep going, keep grinding it out. Don't worry about none of the other stuff out there. Just worry about, winning possessions, diving, and getting dirty. Not physically dirty, but, just grinding it out, basically.
And then I guess today, Dragic kind of got twisted up with you. Just what were you thinking as that was going on? I know you laughed it off afterwards, but just kind of what were you thinking?
Nah, I didn't like it at all. I thought there was a dirty play. I think it was game 1 or 2 there at home where he fell on my leg and tried to say I fouled him. And it's kind of the same incident again. But at that time, just know some things are more important than a personal battle. So just don't worry about it, laugh it off, and continue to worry about the game.
Vinny Goodwill.
Hey Khris, I know this is a first round series and last year in the bubble was a totally different situation, but mentally, was this a hurdle that you guys felt like you had to get over, with this team in this manner, especially when you saw some of the altercations that happened that could have, changed how you guys approach these games?
Nah, can you say that question one more time? My fault.
No, was this a hurdle you felt like you had to get over mentally,
No.
just because of everything that's happened in the past year or so?
Man, it's past. I mean, I think I've been in the playoffs maybe 6 times. Haven't won a championship yet, ever got to the final. So each year, you try to find some type of experience, learn from it. But you don't bring, the past about losing as a revenge or whatever. You learn from it. You work on it during the summertime, then you move on. So I wouldn't say this series had anything to do with last year at all. I mean, credit them; they were the better team last year. This year, I feel like we proved we were the better team this year.
And lastly, as a second round series, the potential of you guys playing with the Nets and all their firepower, you guys had a couple of really competitive games with them. How much forward or how excited are you looking forward to that possibility the next week or so?
Brooklyn or Boston. I think we're excited for whoever we're matched up with to play in the second round and still have a chance to advance. That's what it's all about. Wherever we play, both teams have a lot of firepower, but definitely exciting, but also a great opportunity for us.